All right, everybody, welcome to Unscripted One-on-One, and I have a very, very special guest today. I also have a very unique situation today. This is the first Zoom call I've ever done in the same house. So today I want to welcome the lovely and talented Miss Emma Conrad. I'm a proud dad. I'm a girl dad, all those things. But today I wanted to have Emma in because I wanted to get an announcement out about something very special that she's doing. So Emma, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get into full, okay?
Okay. My name is Emma. This is my dad, and I go to Davidson. I'm a senior at Davidson this year. We have a nice family. I love my family. I have a mom, and then I have two siblings, Austin and Bryn, and I really enjoy track in my free time and hang out with friends and family. So, yeah.
There you go. All right. Well, welcome to the unscripted. That's why it's unscripted, because I mess up all the time. Welcome to the Unscripted podcast, and I'm glad to have you on. So, speaking of podcasts, the reason I wanted to have you on today was because I think the word that I thought of when I was in the 2 minutes that I prepped for this, because it is unscripted, the word that I thought of is inspired. And you know, you all inspire me. All my kids inspire me every day. But you know, I think of you've inspired me in several ways, and I kind of want to talk through those today as we go along. The first one being your most recent venture, and that is your podcast. So, can you tell our audience a little bit about your podcast? It's actually doing very, very well. You've received some really cool feedback, and so I wanted to make people aware of your podcast because it's far better than mine. So if you could let everybody know a little bit about your podcast. So tell us about Full.
Okay, so I guess I could have mentioned this earlier, but in my free time, I really enjoy listening to podcasts. I do that a lot. And so I think just listening to other people's podcasts and like different churches' podcasts and I don't know, just listening to those a lot really inspired me to start a podcast. And so and then when quarantine hit, we just had so much time that I finally pursued it. And so that was just really exciting. And so basically I wanted to start a podcast because I feel like my whole life I have just I have a hard time being positive, and I always thinking negative thoughts. And so I don't know, just growing my relationship with Christ has really helped me grow out of that habit. And so I just wanted to share how I've done that, and just let it be a platform that's encouraging to other people, and just sharing what I'm learning step by step in my faith and also just in life. And so, yeah, it's really grown to be something that I never would have done, but it's really helped me become more confident. And yeah, I think that's it.
Well, you're doing a great job. And like I said, we've received some feedback, and we know some people and friends in other cities that are passing it along, and it's really neat to watch it just kind of grow. And when I say you inspired me, it's because I think during quarantine, I said that I was going to do a podcast, and I think I did one episode, and it was like 10 minutes. And then it just kind of went on the shelf. But just watching how you've continued to pursue it and work hard at it made me want to do the same thing. So here we are. So for everybody, and I might have to pass the techie stuff along for you, but do you know your address, or where can people find your podcast? I think it's probably easier. Where can they find it?
You can find it on Spotify and Apple. I think there's a lot of other platforms that it's on, but if you go to Spotify or Apple and just type in Full and then my name, Emma Conrad, it most likely will show up. I know that it does that on Apple. I have not tried doing that on Spotify, but I think if you type just the title Full and then my name, Emma Conrad, it should show up.
Yeah, it does. And I'll also have it in the blog post that we post this video on. I'll have it on there. But for anybody that's listening to the podcast, You can also go to anchor.fm/Emma slash or dash Conrad. So anchor.fm backslash Emma dash Conrad. I think you can find it on there as well. So another question for you: where did you come up with the name? What is full? What does that mean?
So it's kind of funny because I didn't know what to title it, but I was reading my Bible that day, and I read John 10:10, which is the enemy comes to steal and kill and destroy, but I have come to give life and life to the full. And so I just really wanted to center my podcast around that idea, just like pursuing life to the full in Christ, and like through loving other people and loving ourselves. And so I wanted to center my podcast around that. And I wanted it to be an individual word as my title. I just didn't know what it was. So I just thought it was so cool that I was reading my Bible one day and it just really popped out to me. So that's why I went with that title. And I like to put the word full in all of my episode titles just to tie it in even further. But yeah.
That's awesome. And mine is unscripted, and I'm not promoting my own podcast, but the reason why I say that is because this is unscripted. Emma and I have not discussed this. I was watching football and she said, you want to do that podcast now? So just to give our audience an idea, we're really doing this on the fly. So, and that's what I love about it. It's laid back and it's just you and I talking, and probably one or two people listening at some point, hopefully. So, but yeah, I love that. That's a great way to, it's not just a title, like you really put some thought behind it. And really, it sounds like you were inspired by that. So there's that word again. All right. So you said that you listen to other podcasts. What other podcasts do you listen to?
Well, it started out, it's kind of funny. You can see the paintings on my wall, but I really like to do paint by numbers. Mm-hmm. And so when I started doing those, I couldn't just sit and do it, and they take numerous hours. So I needed something to do. So I started listening to podcasts. I don't know how I found his podcast, but I started listening to Michael Todd at first. And he is pastor of Transformation Church in Oklahoma, I want to say. I really do like his podcast, so I recommend him. And then I I pretty much listened to all of them on the Apple app, so I needed someone else to listen to after going through all of them. So I started listening to Erwin McManus, which is pastor of, what's Mosaic. The name? Yeah, Mosaic. Mm-hmm. And then I recently started listening to Levi Lesko. And I read one of his books, actually, so I wanted to see if he had any podcasts. And so, yeah, I really like listening to those three pastors, but also just random people here or there, because, like, on the Apple podcast app, it'll just say, like, you might like this, and so I might listen to something like that. But, yeah.
Very cool. And as a dad, it made my heart proud because Erwin McManus is one of my favorites. So we'll tag him on this too, in case he does a stumble on it. But Erwin McManus is one of my favorite authors, and I know we've shared a few of his books. And so that was really cool. I knew he was one that you listened to. So that was very, very cool. All right. So let's shift gears a little bit. Let's talk about your senior year and COVID. And actually, let's reverse gears a little bit and go back to, I was on a podcast earlier with somebody from the schools, and we were talking, and I said last year, because I think I meant last school year, but it honestly feels like it's been a year since this all started. But let's talk about last school year. And, you gave up one of your biggest sports to pursue what you felt like was your one sport, your number one sport. After having a pretty successful freshman year, and then the next year coming back, and really the field got better, but your time stayed the same. Which your times your freshman year were almost good enough to get you really, what was it, districts, and then what was next? Regionals, right? So we were within, like I hurdled them, but you were within just a heartbeat of making it on to regionals, which was incredible for a freshman. So just kind of giving the audience an idea, you sophomore year, you did your 2 sports, and then your times, like I said, stayed the exact same, but the field got better. So at going into your junior year, you put that on hold and said, I'm going to focus on one thing and one thing only. So that leads us up to spring. And then all of a sudden there's no season. So I've shared that on other podcasts with other people. What can you talk a little bit about how that felt? I mean, obviously we all know that it was heartbreaking for you, but how did it feel, and how do you and your friends that continue to have all of these things just canceled on you? How are you dealing with that, and where do you find the strength or the inspiration, there's that word again, to move on to new things, or to just keep kind of going along knowing that you don't know what your future holds?
Mm-hmm. I think at first it was really, really hard to take in. I just remember being at track practice, and that's when everyone found out that we would be gone for 3 weeks. And everyone was so happy. Like, I remember all my friends like jumping around like, yay, no school. And I just felt like really uneasy. And I was like, this is not funny. Like, I don't know why everyone's happy. Like, I just was not happy at all. And so I don't know. At first, it just hit me really hard. And but like looking back at it now, I think it was a good like reminder that like every day you don't have control over anything. Like we don't have control over anything that happens. And so I think that was a good reminder, because I feel like I just got stuck in a routine and the usual, like doing the same thing every day. And so I think it was just a good wake-up call. Like, we are not promised to wake up tomorrow. Like, we never know when our last moment is. And so while it was really hard, I think it was a good, like, eye-opening moment. Like, I don't know. I just feel like I was never present in my life and in the moments I was in. And so it's helped me this year become more present and just, like, really be intentional with every moment I have. And I really was devastated, obviously, about missing out on some things this year. But I don't know, just going into senior year, I felt a sense of hope that, like, even though it's going to be different, like, it's still going to be good, and we're going to have opportunities to do things that we never would be able to do. Like this year, I definitely have had opportunities to do things that I normally wouldn't have time to do, like starting the podcast. And this is a little thing, but just like going to a lot of my friends' sports games or just events that they're in and supporting them, that has been really cool. And so just little things like that have been encouraging for me. And so just looking for the positive while we're in the season, and looking for the things that you normally can't do, but now you can, like just focusing on those things have helped me get through this season.
Yeah, and you've done such a good job. And again, I'm going to sound like proud dad, but you've done a phenomenal job. All of you have, Austin, you, Bryn, just, I mean, just moving on the fly. And one thing I think that if we are unscripted and we are honest with this audience, they'll, one thing I could tell them is that you and I both have high anxiety. So we share that gene. You probably actually received it from me, so congratulations. But no, I think, with high anxiety, it's hard when you don't have a point on the horizon. You don't have that before you could circle a date and say, I just need to get to this, or when I get to here, I can do this. And those things are now it's like somebody went to the calendar and just erased everything, and we don't know, there's no circles. And so you guys have done a really, really good job of just being creative. And as you were talking, my thought was your podcast, which has already affected people, came out of that season for you. So no, there was no hurdles and there was no track meets, but your podcast alone has already impacted people, and that's pretty effective and something that you can do. So at this point, I think we have to look for those things, like you said, and look for ways to be present. I like what you said about being present, and one of my favorite quotes is, "You got to be where your feet are." And so,
Mm-hmm.
and you do a good job of being where your feet are at the time and being present. So, all right. So another way that you have continued to inspire me is and we probably don't have to get too much into it, but obviously there was a battle that you fought a few years ago, and you have come back strong. And where did you find the inspiration? Again, we don't need to get into the details, but where did you find the inspiration to just drive yourself to a place where you are completely okay now, and things are good? Where did you find that inspiration?
Honestly, only Jesus. Like, really, that's all it was. And obviously you guys, family. Like, it was hard because I feel like it definitely was a point where I realized who was there for me. And so it was just like hitting rock bottom and realizing that I have an incredible family and that like it was only Jesus. And so slowly but surely, like just relying on him, that's the only reason that I've gotten to where I am at today. And so, I mean, that's literally it.
Yeah, and that's everything.
And like,
So.
yeah, my youth group, you guys, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. Well, you're amazing. You're inspiring to many people. Why do I keep using that word? I don't know. It just keeps coming up, maybe because you're such an inspiration. So, all right, let's shift gears a little bit now and talk about school. So you're a senior, and again, unknowns on the calendar, homecomings, proms, all the stuff that seniors typically love to do. And again, I don't know if it's going to be up before or after this one, but I did talk to one of our administrators at the school system, and I know they're doing everything that they can, and we don't certainly blame them for where we are. But talk to me about your senior year. What does it look like now? And maybe you want to share with people you're still in the recruiting cycle, and that was something that was unfortunately basically taken away. A part of COVID was that junior year, that was your moment to probably be recruited most and seen. But in the meantime, we still get mail every day. You're getting texts, and so it's neat how it's continued on. But talk to me about your senior year. What are your plans? Maybe let everybody know kind of how you're approaching a hybrid teaching at this point, and how are you just going through your senior year?
It was definitely hard to transition from like nothing or not doing nothing all summer, but having a pretty chill summer to full online school. I think that was a very hard transition for me because like just staring at a screen all day and sitting in the same spot, and I mean that sounds like first world problems, but and just like it was very hard the first week, I think, just being online and like not being able to see people in person. I think that was definitely hard. And then the second week, it was definitely a hard transition into hybrid just because everything's so new. And so just approaching everything was kind of difficult and hard for me to wrap my head around. But now that we've been in hybrid for, I think, 2-3 weeks now, I actually really enjoy hybrid. I think it's so flexible, and I'm A group, so I go Monday, Wednesday, and then every other Friday. So it's really nice because I feel like I'm never stressed about school or getting stuff done because teachers are really being super supportive right now, and they're being super helpful with schoolwork. And so I'm proud of them for being able to support us even when it's really unknown for them. But yeah, just being like home one day is really nice and be able to get stuff done. I don't know. I just feel like it's really easy to balance, and I like it a lot more than going to school every day. Makes me want to go to school when I have to go to school. So it's been really nice. But for plans wise after senior year, I really like Grace College right now, and I want to go into counseling and hopefully run track there. So yeah, and I really only have that in mind, but I'm still keeping my options open, but I'm pretty narrowed down on that school. So yeah.
Did we just make an announcement?
Maybe. Maybe.
Literally.
75% sure.
We're for those listening, watching, that was not an official. We will have
It's
an official, but it is good to know where your heart and your head are.
Yeah.
And I think that's, and I'm sure at some podcasts I'll talk about this too with Austin's, journey. And I know we've talked about it a lot. I think when you know, and it doesn't matter, what Division One, NAI, Division Three, Division Two, it doesn't matter. Fit is everything. And, it's good to know that you have started to single in on, it sounds like one school. Again, that's not an announcement. Just in case anybody hears it, we'll have an official announcement soon.
I thought about that before I said it.
Well, and there's always, there's a certain amount of mail. Hang on. Let me, well, they won't be able to hear it or see it on the podcast, but, I keep it close. For those watching on the video, there's a certain university that has, been in contact. What's that say for the people listening in? What does that say on it?
The University of North Carolina of Chapel
Ah, okay. All right. That's what I thought that was. I keep it close because let me just go ahead for the video and show the name on there. That's not my name. That's yours. So anyway, for those listening, North Carolina has received Emma's information, and so we haven't made. I offered to do an official visit because I don't need an excuse to go to North Carolina, but no, I'm super proud. All kidding aside, just super proud that literally we get stacks every day of every school in the country, I think, which is probably not too uncommon, but it says us something about, your grades, your academics, and all the hard work that you put in there as well, not just sports. So, but we're going to go ahead and apply to North Carolina just to get that letter, right? Maybe? No? All right. Well, that was it. I really wanted to take a chance today and introduce the audience to you, a short, sweet, unscripted podcast today, but I wanted to introduce the audience to you, tell them about your podcast because it's doing very, very well, and more than stats, and you'll learn this again, not to reference another podcast, but it's one that I did with somebody earlier about storytelling and blogs. Is early on, it's very easy to get caught up in the stats, almost like social media, how many people are following me, that kind of thing. And when you stop doing that and you start just doing it just to put content out there, that's when you really see the most reward. And, you've seen that already. That's my advice to you is don't worry about the stats. Just put content into the world and it'll find its way where it's supposed to go. And especially the kind of content you're doing, which is very rich and is going to impact lives and already has from messages that we've received. So anything you want to tell everybody before we call it a podcast?
I don't think so. Hope everyone is doing well. Thanks for watching.
Well, and I thank you, Emma, for doing this together, and it's fun. We'll have to do another one. Maybe we'll combo one on yours. So, but again, for anybody that's looking for it, it's full FULL, and then Emma Conrad, and that's available on Apple, Spotify, pretty much all the podcast apps, anchor.fm/Emma/-Conrad. And or you can even find it on my blog. I've got it promoted on the front page as well. So plenty of places to find it. I recommend that you look for it, and love you. Thanks, Emma. Bye.
Bye.